You see these massive ships in port all the time, right? But have you ever really stopped to wonder what it takes to get one of them ready to go? It's not as simple as just starting a car. Today, we're going to dive into this incredible 42-step countdown that turns a dockside giant into an ocean-ready titan. I mean, really think about it. We're talking about 100,000 tons of steel. You don't just turn a key and throw it in drive. There's this whole hidden world of checks and balances that has to happen first. So, what does it really take? Well, the secret is in an official 42-point checklist. And you can think of it as the master plan, the one script that takes a dormant, sleeping giant and transforms it into a fully operational, self-sufficient floating city that's ready to take on the open ocean. So, where do you even start with something so huge? Well, before a single rope is cast off, the first phase is all about the absolute essentials, making sure the right people are on board and that they have everything they could possibly need to survive and do their jobs out there. And it all kicks off with a simple head count across three core departments. You've got the deck department, they're the ones who navigate, the engine department, they keep the ship's heart beating, and the catering department, who, make sure everyone is fed. If even one person from this essential team is missing, that ship is going nowhere, period. This is a perfect look at the ship's last umbilical cord to land. This is the final chance to get everything on board. We're talking fuel, which is called bunkers, spare parts, and literally tons of food and fresh water. And while all that's going on, the cargo is being tied down, the last legal papers are signed, and they even do a full search for stowaways. The ship is getting ready for total independence. Once everything is finally loaded, the next step is absolutely crucial. You have to isolate the vessel. Think of it like sealing a bubble. Every single person who is not part of the official crew for this specific voyage has to get off the ship. And we're not talking about just a few people. You've got the dock workers, any repair technicians, official agents, and any other visitors. Everybody has to disembark. Every single visitor pass is collected. From this moment on, that ship becomes its own world. Okay, so the human element is all sorted out. Now, the focus snaps to the ship itself. It's time to seal up the steel shell and make sure the physical integrity of this massive structure is absolutely perfect. Before a ship moves even an inch, it has to be perfectly balanced. They call this the stability trinity. First, they confirm the draft. That's how deep it sits in the water. If you get that wrong, you could run aground. Second, they check its stability to make sure it's not top-heavy and at risk of capsizing. And third, they confirm the hull isn't being overstressed by the weight of the cargo, which could literally break the ship apart at sea. No joke. Now, this might sound obvious, but it is one of the single most critical safety checks there is. The crew has to physically inspect and confirm that every single opening, from those massive cargo hatches down to the smallest portholes, is sealed up tight. Out at sea, the tiniest leak can turn into a huge disaster, so this check is absolutely non-negotiable. And it's not just about sealing the hull from the sea, it's also about securing everything inside from the sea's motion. A big rolling wave can turn any loose object, a crate on deck, a chair in the dining room, into a seriously dangerous projectile. So the rule is simple. If it can move, it gets lashed down. All right, the ship is sealed, it's balanced. Now for the really exciting part. It's time to bring the machine to life, to wake the mechanical heart of this steel giant. And that first roar of life comes from the main engine. The engineers will test it by running it just briefly forward or ahead, and then in reverse, astern. This is the primary muscle of the ship, and they have to be 100% sure it responds instantly and exactly how it's supposed to. So if the engine is the muscle, then the steering gear is the nervous system. The crew tests the rudder to make sure the ship can turn on a dime. I mean, there's no point in having all that power if you can't control where it's going, right? Now for the delicate stuff, especially in a crowded port. Ships have these things called bow thrusters. They're powerful propellers on the side of the bow that can literally push the ship sideways. They test this to make sure they have that fine-tuned control they need to pull away from the dock without a single scratch. And finally, they confirm there's power to all the heavy lifting machinery, the winches for those massive mooring ropes, and the windlass, which is the beast of a machine that raises and lowers that giant anchor. The ship is now fully powered up and ready to move. The ship is alive and ready, but where is it going? Well, this final phase is all about powering up the ship's brain, that sophisticated suite of navigational tools that's going to guide it across the entire globe. See, a ship never just sets sail. Nope. Every single mile of the journey is meticulously planned out way in advance. This includes the entire route or passage plan, making sure all the navigational charts are updated, downloading the latest weather forecasts, and even calculating the local tides for the exact moment of departure. A huge piece of modern navigation is something called AIS, the Automatic Identification System. The easiest way to think of it is like air traffic control, but for the sea. It's constantly broadcasting a ship's identity, its position, its course, and its speed to every other ship nearby, and that's how they avoid collisions. Making sure this is online, it's not just a good idea, it's a fundamental safety rule. This seems like such a small thing, but it is absolutely vital. The bridge, which is the ship's command center, and the engine room have to be perfectly synchronized. Every command, every log entry is time-stamped, so being off by even a few seconds could cause some major confusion in an emergency. And here we go, the final systems check. This is like powering up the ship's electronic eyes and ears. Radars are put on standby, the echo sounder gets turned on to measure the water depth, the radio is tuned to the correct port frequency, navigation lights are tested, and crucially, the global distress system is confirmed to be working. The ship can now see, it can hear, and it can call for help if it needs to. So after all 41 of those technical checks, the very last step is a human one. The ship's captain, who knows that vessel inside and out, meets with the local port pilot, who knows the harbor like the back of their hand. They go over the departure plan together one last time, making sure it's a perfect fusion of expertise. So there you have it. This isn't just a checklist, is it? It's a carefully choreographed performance, a 42-step waltz between a highly skilled crew and an incredibly complex machine. Every single step is critical, and they're all performed in perfect sequence, just to begin one single voyage. This entire 42-step process is designed to make the unpredictable predictable. But it kind of leaves us with one final thought. After all of those layers of painstaking preparation, what is the one variable that no checklist, no matter how detailed, can ever truly control? The sea itself.